Let me ask you something. When did working hard stop being enough? There was a time, not that long ago, when one steady job could buy a home, raise a family, and still leave room for a weekend barbecue. You didn't need to be rich, just responsible. But if you try that today, in most American cities, you'll feel it instantly. The math doesn't work anymore. Rent eats your paycheck, groceries double every year, and no matter how much you save, it feels like you're always one step behind. It's not that you're doing anything wrong, it's that the rules of survival have changed. The middle class was once the backbone of this country. The people who fixed the cars, taught the kids, ran the diners, and kept the lights on. But now, in city after city, that backbone is cracking. Wages haven't kept up with inflation, housing costs have exploded, and the price of normal life has become impossible for millions of honest Americans. You used to work for stability. Now you work just to stay in place. And it's not just happening somewhere far away, it's happening in the cities we loved. Detroit, New York, San Francisco, places that used to stand for opportunity now feel like warnings. This isn't just about affordability, it's about survival. So let's take a hard look at 10 once great American cities where the middle class, people just like you, can no longer make it. Not because they stopped trying, but because the dream itself has slipped out of reach. Number 10. Detroit, Michigan. If you grew up in Detroit, you remember what pride felt like. The smell of motor oil in the air, the echo of factory shifts changing, families piling into American-made cars they helped build. This was the city that defined the middle class, where an honest day's work at Ford or GM could buy you a house, a vacation, and a future for your kids. But today, that dream feels like it's been repossessed. After decades of factory closures, outsourcing, and automation, the jobs that once built Detroit vanished. Median household income hovers around $38,000, while the cost of essentials keeps rising. In many neighborhoods, it's hard to find a full-service grocery store, let alone a stable job with benefits. The city has heart. It always will. But heart doesn't pay the heating bill when rent alone can swallow half your paycheck. You can still see the resilience in the people who stayed, the ones fixing up old homes and refusing to give up. But for most middle-class families, Detroit has become a symbol of what happens when an economy leaves its workers behind, when the American dream runs out of gas. Number 9. San Francisco, California. If you visit San Francisco today, it still looks like a postcard. The bay sparkling, the skyline glowing at sunset, cable cars crawling up steep streets. But if you try to live there, you'll feel something entirely different. For the middle class, San Francisco has turned into a financial trap disguised as paradise. A simple 2-bedroom apartment, over $4,000 a month. The median home price, close to $1.3 million. Teachers, nurses, firefighters, the backbone of any city, are being priced out of the very place they serve. Many commute over 2 hours just to work in a city they can't afford to live in. Families that once filled San Francisco's neighborhoods are packing up, heading east, or leaving the state entirely. What used to be a city of dreamers and creators is slowly becoming a gated museum for the wealthy. And maybe that's the hardest part, walking through those same colorful streets and realizing it's not your city anymore. The beauty's still there, but it comes with a price tag so high, the middle class has been erased from the picture. Number 8. Honolulu, Hawaii. If you've ever stood on the beaches of Honolulu, you know it feels like paradise. The breeze, the waves, the way the sunset paints the sky. It's everything people dream of when they imagine peace. But for the middle class, actually trying to live there, paradise has turned into pressure. A gallon of milk costs nearly $7. Electricity bills are some of the highest in the nation. And housing? Forget it. The median home price sits above $1 million. Locals who've lived in Hawaii for generations are being forced to leave their own islands. Teachers, restaurant workers, even military families, they simply can't keep up with the cost of living anymore. What was once a tight-knit community of working families is now a place where luxury condos rise faster than local paychecks. Honolulu hasn't lost its beauty, but it's slowly losing the people who gave it soul.
Number 7. Denver, Colorado. If you haven't been to Denver in a few years, it's almost unrecognizable. What used to be a laid-back mountain city filled with young professionals and working families has turned into one of the fastest-rising housing markets in America. 10 years ago, Denver was affordable, a place where you could buy a home and still have money for a ski trip. Today, the median home price is over $650,000, and rent for a one-bedroom easily tops $2,000. The city's growth exploded after the tech boom, but wages never caught up. Middle-class families who once filled Denver's neighborhoods are moving farther into the suburbs, spending hours commuting just to stay connected to the jobs they can't afford to live near. And if you try to buy in the city now, good luck. You're competing with investors and cash buyers from out of state. Denver is still stunning. The mountains haven't gone anywhere, but the view now comes with a price the middle class can't pay.
Number 6. Portland, Oregon. If you drive through Portland today, it's hard not to notice the change. The coffee shops are still there, the bridges still stretch over the Willamette River, but the spirit of the city feels different. There was a time when Portland was a haven for artists, teachers, small business owners, a place where living simply meant living well. But now the cost of that simple life has skyrocketed. The median home price is pushing past $550,000, and rent averages nearly $1,900 a month. For a city once built on community and creativity, that's a steep climb. You see it everywhere. Longtime locals leaving for cheaper towns, small businesses shutting their doors, neighborhoods changing faster than people can adapt. The same cool factor that made Portland special ended up attracting investors, developers, and people with deeper pockets. The result? A city that looks familiar but feels out of reach for the very people who made it vibrant. If you walk through downtown now, you can still feel what Portland used to be, but you can also sense what's slipping away. It's not that the middle class stopped caring, it's that the city stopped caring about them.
Number 5. Seattle, Washington. If you ever dreamed of living in Seattle, the city of coffee, rain, and innovation, you might want to check your bank account first. Once a modest, blue-collar port city filled with Boeing workers and musicians chasing their dreams, Seattle is now dominated by the tech industry. Amazon and Microsoft turned it into an economic powerhouse, but they also sent housing prices through the roof. The median home costs over $850,000, and even a modest apartment can drain $2,500 a month or more. For middle-class families, that means impossible choices. Commute hours from the outskirts, or give up on owning a home entirely. The teachers, nurses, and retail workers who kept this city running are being priced out by six-figure salaries and corporate money. Seattle's skyline may be glowing brighter than ever, but for the middle class, the light feels cold. What used to be a community of dreamers has become a city divided by income, one that celebrates progress while quietly pushing out the people who built it.
Number 4. Los Angeles, California. Los Angeles has always been a dream: sunshine, beaches, and opportunity. But for the middle class, that dream has become a luxury. The average rent now hovers around $2,800 a month, and buying a home?
nearly impossible unless you're already wealthy. With median home prices above $900,000, many families who once built their lives here are packing up and leaving, not for adventure, but for survival. You can feel it when you drive through the neighborhoods. The soul of LA is changing. The city that once promised hope to every worker, actor, and builder now rewards only the few who can afford to stay. Traffic, taxes, and inflation have made daily life a grind. And when the middle class disappears, so does the heartbeat of the city. Los Angeles is still beautiful, still full of dreams, but for the average American, it's a dream you can no longer afford to chase.
Number 3. San Francisco, California. San Francisco used to be the city where anyone could start over. Artists, engineers, immigrants, dreamers. It was the beating heart of opportunity on the West Coast. But now, it's become one of the hardest places in America for the middle class to survive. The median home price has soared past $1.3 million, and even renting a one-bedroom can cost nearly $3,500 a month. That's not living. That's barely hanging on. You can feel the divide walking down Market Street. Tech giants in glass towers above, and the people who keep the city running struggling below. Teachers, police officers, small business owners, the backbone of San Francisco, are being pushed out to distant suburbs or out of the Bay Area entirely. The irony is painful. The city that once stood for innovation and inclusion has priced out the very people who made it human. For the middle class, San Francisco isn't a place to build a future anymore. It's a postcard from a dream that's already gone.
Number 2. New York City, New York. If you've ever called New York home, you know it's more than just a city. It's an energy, a rhythm, a way of life. But that life has become almost impossible to afford for anyone outside the top income brackets. The average rent in Manhattan just passed $5,000 a month, and even outer boroughs like Brooklyn and Queens are seeing prices that once belonged only to the Upper East Side. The middle class, the cops, nurses, and office workers who gave this city its heartbeat are being pushed further and further out, riding trains for hours just to reach the jobs that no longer pay enough to live near. It's the classic New York story, except now it's only for the wealthy. The brownstones that once held 3 families now belong to one investor. The mom-and-pop shops that used to line the streets have been replaced by luxury boutiques. The city hasn't lost its power, but it has lost its balance. The city that never sleeps still shines bright, just not for the middle class trying to hold on in the shadows.
Number 1. San Diego, California. If there's one city that perfectly captures the quiet struggle of the American middle class, it's San Diego. The weather is perfect, the ocean views are breathtaking, and the lifestyle seems effortless until you try to live it. The median home price is now over $950,000. Rent averages nearly $3,000 a month, and even basic groceries cost more than in most other cities. For teachers, firefighters, and healthcare workers, the math just doesn't work anymore. What's painful about San Diego isn't just the prices, it's the loss of possibility. This used to be the dream. Raise your kids by the beach, grill on weekends, maybe save up for a fishing boat or a family road trip. But now, families that built their lives here are moving to Arizona, Texas, even across the border just to make ends meet. You can't enjoy the sunshine when you're constantly working overtime to afford it. San Diego is still paradise, but only if you can pay the price. And for the middle class, that price has become a wall, a quiet, invisible line that separates those who get to stay and those who once called it home.
If you've made it this far, you already know
This isn't just about expensive cities. It's about what happens when hard work stops being enough. The middle class built these places. They kept them running, kept them alive. But now, they're being pushed out of the very cities they helped create. And it's not just a few families moving away. It's an entire way of life slowly fading from the map. Think about it. When the people who teach your kids, drive your buses, fix your power lines, and serve your coffee can no longer afford to live where they work, something deep in the American story breaks. These weren't just cities. They were communities full of connection and hope. But now, beauty has a price tag, and belonging feels like a luxury. The dream didn't die overnight. It was sold off. One rent increase, one luxury condo, one corporate paycheck at a time.
If you've lived this, if you've watched your hometown become unrecognizable, or seen neighbors pack up because they couldn't keep up, you know the pain isn't just financial. It's emotional. It's watching a dream slip through your fingers even though you did everything right. So, tell me, what city did you once call home but can no longer afford to live in? Share your story below, because this isn't about complaining. It's about remembering what we've lost and reminding ourselves that the middle class still matters. Maybe, by talking about it, by naming it, we can start to rebuild a version of America where working hard actually means you get to stay home, not lose it.